Hi everyone, last video for the day. It's currently going to be 8 o'clock here, Miami time. I hope you all are enjoying your evening. If you're on the West Coast, I hope you're enjoying your afternoon, spending it with your family and your loved ones. Today's video is a little cautionary tale to those who may have just started weightlifting. And who are really completely inexperienced with weightlifting, but suddenly you have the absolute urge to just work out like there's no tomorrow and work out hard. Okay, I personally made a decision that if I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna give it all or nothing. I'm not gonna lay anything out. I'm not gonna leave anything out. I'm gonna leave it all on the gym floor. I'm gonna give it my all, because that's how much my health means to me, that I'm gonna work my butt off to get to where I want to be. So anyways, this had happened obviously before I was given the advice to just focus on the cardio instead of the weightlifting, because my friend did say, hey, look, right now you're focused on losing weight, you're focused on slimming down and losing fat, why don't you just focus on the cardio instead of actually lifting weights? It's not that you're not going to lift weights at some point, but it's really counterproductive right now to lift weights while you are so heavy, because of the fact that if you do lift weights, yes, you will be strong, yes, you will build muscle, but a lot of that will be on top of the fat that you already have. And when you try to burn that fat, it's going to be extremely harder to burn that fat off. Because it's concealed. So yeah, so my story goes like this, okay? So before I even found out all about that, I was implementing every type of exercise I can get my hands on or do, and part of it was weightlifting. I enjoyed the weightlifting. It was pretty intense, but I thought it was great. And this is something I've always wanted to do, and I will do it when the time is right. But here's a little precautionary tale, okay? Years ago, and I'm sure a lot of overweight people can relate to this, I was diagnosed with fatty liver disease. Now, for those of you who don't know, that is a type of liver disease, but it is primarily caused by a buildup of fat around the liver. And in time, okay, it takes years, but eventually you can develop so much fat that it damages the liver, and it's like you have cirrhosis almost. It's a very degenerative way of having your liver exists. So that's another reason why it's in everybody's business, in everybody's best interest, if they're losing weight, to lose weight, because if you have a fatty liver, that's not a good thing. You need your liver to survive. Your liver is ultimately what eliminates toxins in your body. It helps you break down important nutrients. I mean, if you don't have your liver, man, you're screwed. And the liver is an organ you just can't live without. So you need your liver to be at optimal level. Anyways, my story goes like this, okay? Now, I don't drink. Well, I take that back. I have drank, consumed alcohol. However, I don't drink regularly. I don't drink heavily. I drink in social situations, just to have a good time, and I never go overboard. Okay, now mind you, I'm about 300 pounds. I'm about 6 feet tall. Based on that and the fact that I'm a male, I can consume quite a bit of alcohol. So what I had drank in previously, before this even happened, I believe the last time I drank something like 4 beers, and it's beers, mind you. That's like low end of alcohol content type drink, okay? It's not like I was downing Jägermeisters or anything like that, okay? So I drank 4 beers beginning of February. The only other thing really that I remember doing, which is another thing I'm going to cover, because anyways, one day I had bought quite a bit of a pot, and I was so stressed out for that week. I just wanted to take one day off and just vegetate the whole day. So I spent the entire day just smoking weed, being on cloud 9. I smoked a lot. I mean, so much that I was just like gone for the whole day, But anyways, that was the only other drug I consumed, and THC is relatively harmless. I doubt that it would have any adverse effects on your liver. But yeah, like I said, those are the two things. There were times in the month that I did consume some Tylenol, but it was mostly because of the workout pain, but never to like an extreme level. I mean, I believe you have to consume at least 4,000 milligrams of Tylenol in one 24-hour period in order to sustain some kind of liver damage. Now, I take extra strength Tylenol. Each caplet is about 500 milligrams. Okay, so you would literally have to take, six of those. Not six of those. I'm sorry, my math is off. So you would literally have to take. Sorry. It's just one of those days I'm tired. You have to take about 8 of those, okay? Because they're 500 milligrams each, so eight times that amount, it's basically 4,000 milligrams. Okay, so here's the thing. At the most, I took 2 Tylenol. No, because each time I would take 2 Tylenol at a time, because that's their extra strength. They usually recommend taking 2 at a time. I took no more than 4, if at all. Most days that I had the pain, I took 2. That's it. So I didn't pass the threshold of anything that would damage my liver. However, anyways, fast forward. I did. There was a week when I was just working out nonstop. I'm telling you, I would lift weights 3 times a week, and mind you, I'm new to this. Okay. And the first time I did it, one of the exercises, I was working my biceps that day and several other muscles that you can work out together on the same day. But the bicep exercises in particular really got me because I was really trying to build muscle by the certain ways that I was doing it. And I worked myself to exhaustion. I mean, to give you an example, once I finished the workout, my arms were so swollen that I basically couldn't extend my arm all the way out. My arms were locked at a 30-degree angle just because of the swelling of the biceps and the top part of the forearm. And so it was odd. It wasn't painful at first. However, what sets in after that is something called DOMS, which is short for delayed onset muscle soreness, which every bodybuilder I'm sure knows exactly what that is. They've all experienced it at some point. However, it's usually worse for people who are untrained, who don't work those muscles regularly, and who have just gotten into weightlifting, and especially if they go really hard the first time. I did, and I'm not used to it, and sure enough, I got the DOMS really bad. I was in absolute agony for about 4 days. It was some of the worst pain in my arms I've ever felt in my life. There are times when people would question during something like that if they want to continue lifting weights. However, that's a growing pain you got to go through initially to get used to lifting weights, but it ain't gonna last forever. The more you do it, the less it happens and the less severe it is. So that's something you have to keep in mind if you're gonna start lifting weights. But that's not the issue, okay? So it was the beginning of the year in January, or February, I should say, and they wanted to do at my doctor's office a full metabolic panel, along with a urine analysis, just to see how my body is, check my A1C since I'm diabetic, and just see how things were going. And my A1C came back perfect. My blood sugar is under control. My diabetes level is going down. Perfect. I told the doctor all about my dietary changes, my newfound love for exercise, and he was very happy. But they took the blood test. About 4 days later, I got a call. And they tell me, yeah, everything's fine. However, your liver enzymes were extremely high. And I said, well, just how high were they? And they explained, normally your liver enzymes should be between 40 and 50. And mine were extremely high. They were in the 630 range. That's really high. Mind you, if you want severe damage to your liver, your enzymes should be somewhere in the thousands, but 630 still isn't nothing to play with. That's serious. But there was a doubt because I did some research and I ran it by the doctor. I looked it up, and sure enough, the same enzymes that are released by your liver into your bloodstream, there's something similar in your muscles, your skeletal muscles, that mimic the same effect. And what happens is when you lift weights, ultimately what's happening is as you're lifting the weights, you're creating micro tears in your muscles, okay? And those micro tears are ultimately what create growth after a while once they heal. The downside is when you create those micro tears, you release proteins and enzymes into your bloodstream, just like your liver does when it's overloaded. And the unfortunate part is that when you're doing blood work, your levels will look elevated and they'll automatically assume it's your liver, when in fact of the matter is it could very well be a whole host of things. In my case, it was the extreme amount of exercise I was doing. I told you I couldn't straighten out my arms for a long time. I had a lot of swelling, and swelling is one of the reasons why those enzymes are high. But anyways, so they took it. They were worried about it, even though I told them, look, I'm working my butt off. But they said, okay, let's just check just to be on the safe side. So they told me this. They said, look, we don't want you touching any alcohol. We don't want you any dietary supplements. Stop that. Don't drink certain medications. Like I'm diabetic, metformin. That was very hard for me because I'm diabetic. But thankfully I've been eating right, so it didn't affect my blood sugar. And then certain medications that I'm on for my mental illness, they also told me to stop for a while because they wanted to see if my liver enzymes would be on a downward trend. And so about a week later, I did blood work again just to see where everything was. 4 days later, after that passed, they called me again. Everything was much, much better. My enzymes went down from 630 back to 50, which is about normal. And my doctor said, hey, you were right. We found no signs of hepatitis, so I didn't get any sexually transmitted diseases. There was no traces of alcohol or any type of illicit drugs in my system. And what they could find was the fact that, I worked myself into that state. Typically, when you get enzymes that high because of exercise, that's not dangerous. Where you want to be extremely careful about those types of enzymes are when you tend to drink a lot or take a lot of medication. That'll screw your liver up, and that can be irreversible. Okay, but what I did was I just worked myself into a frenzy, releasing that stuff into my bloodstream, and so when they took the blood work, it came out as if my liver enzymes were through the roof. But thankfully, he clarified it for me, and he said, you're fine. He gave me the okay to start exercising again, so I'm very happy about that. But yeah, I'm telling you guys this, at least for those who are just getting into weightlifting, because if you have no experience and you really go hard, the next time you go to the doctor's office, if it's relatively soon after you've started the weightlifting, expect for them to find your liver enzymes elevated, okay? Because and another thing that determines is how hard you're working those muscles, and just how inexperienced with that exercise you are. It's gonna make those levels peak at a much higher level. So yeah, mine was extremely high. I thought, oh my god, I screwed up my liver, but no, that's not the case. Okay, but keep that in mind. If you're gonna work out with weights, your liver enzymes, or at least what represents them, is gonna be high. Make sure you tell your doctor what you've been doing, and you let them know that you are aware that weightlifting in particular can create a false number for your liver enzymes. Just let them know, so that they keep that in their notes, and then they don't have to keep doing other tests just to see what's wrong with you, okay? But that's a reality. Don't get scared about it. It just happens. But yeah, just letting you guys all know so that, if you ever run into this situation, you're prepared for it, and you don't freak out and stress out of it over it, so that You know, because I mean, people that are doing what we're doing, losing weight and exercising, the last thing they need is extra stress, because stress is not going to help. You need to sleep, you need to take care of yourself, and stress is just not an option. So, yeah, that's my story. It's a very scary situation when someone says your liver's in jeopardy, but thankfully, in my case, it was just, you know, I went too hard in the gym, and it ended up giving a false rating. So, uh, yeah, keep that in mind always, guys. If you do see your liver enzymes high, regardless if you've been exercising hard, I suggest you take a break until your doctor can actually figure out the root cause of that elevation. And if you've been working out hard, you're gonna know in your heart that it was because of the exercise. But just don't take it too much to heart, and let your doctor figure it out. And then once he gives you the green light, you go ahead and you get back to working your ass off and being the best person you can be. Okay. Anyways, that's all I have for now. But that's something I wanted to share with you guys because it's very common with people just starting to lift weights. You know, but that's just the wonders of the body, right? It's always surprising you with something new. Anyway, you all have a good night. God bless, and I'll see you next time.